I'm going to stand right here, if that's okay. And I want to make sure everyone can hear me in the back. Okay. Oh, there is a microphone. Oh, good. I won't have to yell. Okay. Thank you. But while we're getting started, I first want to say I am sorry I was almost late. I ran into traffic heading out of town, and my special assistant Vance Gerard is also running late, and so hello.
Are you hearing it back there?
No. Hello?
No.
Hello?
No.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9.
They all come.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, it's all right. I can just follow. Now there's a bus. Now there's a bus. So welcome and thank you. I hope you all had a nice, I know it's still summer, but we took a break on our community meetings. And so it seems like I haven't been with you in a long time, and it's good to be back.
Great, right there, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
This is great. Okay. Thank you. First thing I want to do is there a buzzing along with this, or is it irritating, or? It's fine. Huh?
Fine.
You're good.
You're good. I'm good? Yeah. All right, I'm just going to go, and if you have a problem, tell me about it, okay? I'm excited to be here, excited to be back. It's been a fairly quiet summer at the county, but I do have some news updates for you, and I'm going to try and get through them as quickly as I can so that we can do questions and answers and just conversation, because that's my favorite part of the meeting. But before we get started, I know we have some special people in the audience that I want to acknowledge. And so will everyone who is an elected or appointed individual please stand up, and I'm going to walk up to you with the mic. I want you to say your name and what commission or board you serve on, and then we'll go through that very quickly. So that these are your community leaders. These are people that are taking time out of their schedule to represent you on boards or commissions or who are elected. So if you would please stand up, and we'll go through. We'll introduce everyone.
Mel Griffin, I'm a member of the Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Commission, which is SHRA.
Thank you, Mel. Mel was appointed by me on that board.
Thank you, too. Bob Ashton, Southern Unified School District, Area 4, board member, Sacramento County Park Commission, Area 1.
Thank you, Bob. I'll be talking a little bit about the Park District tonight. Mary?
Mary Harris, board member for the Rio Linda Water District, and I'm currently board president.
Thank you, Mary.
Brent Hill, Rio Linda, Elverta Community Water District board member.
Thank you, Brent.
Susie McDonald of CPAC Community Planning Advisory Council.
And the CPAC meetings are important. That's your voice and your influence to the board.
Hi, I'm Lisa Morris. I'm the director for the Rio Linda Elverta Recreation Park District.
Okay, any other appointed or elected individuals? Anyone running for office? Anyone running for an office currently?
My name is Cynthia Sailors, and I'm running for Sacramento Metro Flyers Board of Directors, Division 1.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Good evening, my name is Roger Mitchell, and I also am running for Sacramento Metro Fire Board Division 1, so I would appreciate your vote. I have too many sponsors to tell you tonight, so thank you very much.
Did I miss anyone? And I also want to thank our Sacramento County Sheriff, Sergeant Roberts, for being here. And who, is there anyone, Barry Chamberlain here from Code Enforcement?
Oh, it's for email updates.
Okay, Barry's not here. I was thinking he might be, but and at the back of the room is Vance Gerard, who is my special assistant, my right-hand person, and Joella Putney, also one of my right-hand people. Thank you very much for being here. And there's Barry Chamberlain and our friends from the Code Enforcement. Okay, so it takes a lot of extra effort to make things go. Oh, who am I? Does anyone here not know who I am? I'm terrible. I'm Sue Frost, Sacramento County Supervisor. And I want to thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. So tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about the budget that was just passed. I'm going to give you a quick update on the Marvell, an update on homelessness. I have some things to share about the Rio Linda Recreation and Park District relating to the Panhandle and some of the activities going on there. An update on roads and solid waste, and then I have a couple of announcements, and we're going to work our way into questions. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to raise your hand, but what I'm going to try and do is work my way through these updates as quickly as possible, so then we have more time to visit. So the budget. The county budget process this year was a little quieter than normal. And I think part of that was because there wasn't a whole lot of extra money to spend, and so we weren't all fighting about how we wanted to spend it. But I did want to let you know that our budget at the county is $4.29 billion. Our general fund appropriations were $1.73 billion, and that was up about 4.7% from last year. As you know, one of the things that I was concerned about over time was our reserves at the county. At the county, our reserves are dangerously low, what I consider to be dangerously low for such a large budget. We have about last year it was 1.5%. This year we eked ourselves up to 1.6%. And my efforts to get substantially more or to change our county policy to increase the amount that we put away each year in reserves didn't really work out, and in big part because the county has a lot going on right now that is going to require a lot of money, and there just isn't a lot of extra money to move around into reserves. But I did want to let you know that some of the things we did do with the county budget this year. Our main investments this year were to continue the initiatives last year. As you recall, last year we spent a lot of extra money on homelessness. We started some initiatives, and we did continue those initiatives this year. We continue to partner with Sacramento City for their whole person care program dealing with the homeless. We're still working on the mental health crisis and rebalancing the mental health care system and creating more resources so that we have a place to take people who really need help rather than into our emergency rooms, which is costing the taxpayers a ton of money every year. We also continued other, investments like the reducing African American deaths, the foster care continuum, and on top of that, there were some issues that we've been working on over time that we're working really hard to address. One of them relates to our jails, and our jails are in need of operational and capital improvements, and it's going to cost us a lot of money to work on that. So this year, that's one of our main focuses. We're also addressing some of the critical needs in child protective services. We added 36 positions in child and family and adult services budget to help comply with some of the state requirements that are before us. And then one thing that we are also doing this year is we're setting aside some funds for a library master plan. And the library master plan, probably it's not a real big thing to you in Rio Linda, but for some of the communities like Orangeville, they have a very small library and they're wishing for a larger one. This master plan will help us better understand, by population and, where do we need our libraries to be and make sure that we're adequately serving our communities. And it's funny because the libraries, some people might have thought the libraries would go away because of all the technical, world that we're living. What do you call that? I mean, it's like, but you know what? The library is still a central place for people to go, and libraries are changing. The way we use our libraries are changing. One of the things that really surprised me, Rio Linda Library has a seed library. You can go to Rio Linda Library and get free seeds. That's just awesome. And so, pardon me? Just 2 streets down where the elementary school is on M Street, that's where the library is. So, some of the concerns that I had relating to our budget were mostly around the fact that we don't have much in the way of reserves. I'm a person who believes that having reserves, makes sure that our county staff have job security. The reason I think that's important is because at the county, there's a lot of things going on. And when we have to cut back drastically on our staff, that means we lose institutional knowledge. And when we lose that, it's hard to replace it. It takes time to rebuild that back up. And so, and we saw that after the economic downturn in our planning department and some of those permitting departments, customer service. It's challenging when you have a lot of new people and you're trying to, get everyone situated and cross-trained. So stability with our service that we're delivering to the constituents, which is the most important thing, to deliver excellent service to our constituents. So I'm still going to continue to, try to keep with that mantra of what can we do to increase our reserves so that we have a plan B if we ever need it. But this year, we basically, we have a lot of things that we needed to work on and get situated. The other concern I had was that we didn't have a whole lot of money. Usually the county sets aside a certain amount for contingency funds. And contingency means if something goes different or wrong and you need money, you go to it's money that you can tap into throughout the course of the year. I'm told that the county's contingency funds go up and down, and some years they don't have that many. So hopefully the small amount that we set aside for contingency this year will be enough for what we needed. I wanted to give you an update on Marvell Shopping Center. And I know, I know the county has been working to expedite the permitting for the, there's a fitness center there. And so I just want you to know that there were some challenges with that situation. The county's been working diligently trying to expedite it. And I know there was some frustration relating to, I guess, the delays there, I wanted to let you know the county has hired a new customer service director. And that person is working hard to look at all of our departments and make sure to improve our customer service. So we're working on that. I'm not sure what the status of the Marval is. Vance, is that permit approved and they're moving forward, or?
For the whole center?
Yeah, no, for the fitness, for the.
I believe they're working toward the finalization of the engineering details, but it's moving.
Okay, moving forward. Okay, that doesn't really say much. Okay, that's what you got. Homeless update. Did anyone see the Sacramento Bee article relating to how homeless deaths were increased this year in 2017 over 2016? They were talking about how homeless deaths jumped 75% in 2017. 124 homeless people died in the county compared to 71 the previous year. So we do have the homeless situation appears to be a growing problem, but the county has a very comprehensive plan on the homeless front, and it's going very well. And so we're tackling it from a lot of different areas, including our sheriff hot team, which have been excellent in their response. Like when people go, I got a call a week or two ago from Doug Ossie, who had some people moving into Gibson Ranch. And Mr. Ossie had stated, can you help? And our hot team got out there and helped him get them situated and on the way to let them know that's not where they can be. So I want to thank our sheriff and their efforts with the homeless hot team. The one thing I want to know that I want to tell you is that there is some good news around the homeless front. The California state budget allocated $600 million statewide for homeless response. Over $500 million of that is one-time flexible funding that's going to be allocated to the California Homeless Emergency Aid Program, which is called KEEP. $150 million going to the largest cities, including Sacramento. $350 million going to continuum of care agencies. So in Sacramento, we anticipate that Sacramento City is going to get about $5.6 million, and the county is going to get around $12.7 million. There are requirements on that money, and the board's going to be discussing how we're going to be able to maximize how we can use that money on September 25th. I do want to tell you, though, one of the ways that we are utilizing that money in our budget this year, we allocated funds for one more mobile crisis support team, and that's going to be for the north area, so that will directly impact Rio Linda, Elverta, Antelope area. And does everyone know what mobile crisis support team is? Raise your hand if you, okay. If you're not sure, if you haven't read my newsletter, Joella, do we have a piece of paper? I forgot to bring a newsletter sign-up.
Circulating.
It's circulating. Okay, if you're already on the newsletter, don't worry about it unless you need to update your email. But if you're not receiving the newsletter, you can sign up for it here, or if you don't want to receive a newsletter, you can also go on and like my Facebook page, and you'll get updates on my activities there, and we usually post my monthly article there. And the last one that we did was relating to the mobile crisis support teams, which is basically something that our sheriff deputies have been working with. We had 2, we're now going to have 3, and these teams are, they're like partners, and they are called upon whenever there is like a domestic violence or any kind of crisis where someone might need assistance in de-escalating or managing it in a way that rather than, arresting them and sending them to jail, where we try to get them to the appropriate services that they need in order to help them. And so they've been extremely successful with this, and for that reason, we want to add more. We were only able to add one more, but it's really an exciting business model because it's giving our deputies the support they need in a situation that they may not exactly have. That may not be their expertise, so their partner, that is their expertise. They don't carry a gun, I guess. And they tell people when they arrive, right? We don't have a gun, that's not who we are, so, and that kind of helps out too. I also wanted to, I know in the past I've shared with you about the big elephant in the room. The big elephant in the room is the problem that nobody is talking about. We have around 3,600 homeless people in Sacramento County, but we have 135,000 people who depend on our food banks every month in order to get by. And so many of these are what we call the working poor, or they're senior individuals who are on a fixed income, fixed low income, and they're maybe in a studio apartment for $1,150 a month and living on $1,700 a month, which I don't know how they do it. I really don't. So I had some folks in Citrus Heights who invited me to help, said, Sue, we need help. A senior called me and said, can we have coffee? And we met, and you've heard this story before, but for those of you who haven't, I went to this one senior community to speak to them. There were about 150 people there. And I've shared about some of the county resources, and subsequent to that meeting, they asked if I would come back again with more resources. So we came back with a workshop that we called 65 Plus Ways to Save, a money-saving workshop for seniors. Basically, we brought only resources that would either save them money or bring more revenues or services. And so, like, some of the things we brought were free food delivery 5 days a week, frozen food for 5 days delivered weekly, food banks that give away food weekly, Cal Fresh program that gives you money for food, free legal services to update your trust and advocate on your behalf. That's like a $1,500 savings, and you can get that done for free if you're over, I think it's 60 or 62. And 211 call centers. The food, they also provided services for pets, and the Meals on Wheels that delivers food also delivers dog food, animal food. And discounts on SMUD and PG&E and other utilities, free vaccinations for pets, huge savings on a prescription program that you may not know about, legal advocates for seniors, and training to avoid fraud, and information on how to maximize your Medicare. There's some ways that they can, I guess, adjust how they calculate your income so that you can qualify for Medi-Cal, and that might qualify you for vitamins or other things. So I'm telling you all this because we're going to have another one of those on October 23rd in Citrus Heights, and we're hoping to get 500 or 600 people there. It's going to be a free workshop for seniors. We're going to bring all the resources back and hopefully more. Vance in the back has a handout. If you're interested, pick that up on your way out, or we can pass it around and take one if you're interested, and don't take one if you're not. Basically, it's going to be like a 3 or 4 hour thing. The only thing we're going to add is there's going to be some little skits that are like a training, actors that are training on how to respond with fraud. So it'll be like a mom and her son, and the son's trying to talk the mom into turning over the deed of trust on the house, you know, and they'll go through that little skit, and then they'll go through it how you could have responded in a better way to protect yourself financially. So how to respond in situations, because older people are just nice, and I think they're just worn out, and you can take advantage of them. I don't know, I know I'm nicer than I used to be. So anyway, I'm excited. We're hoping we can get a lot of people. So tell your friends about it, because we want to help as many seniors as we can. Now, there has been, I know the Rio Linda Recreation and Park District did reach out to me. And there is some activity with Sacramento City that will potentially annex a portion of the Rio Linda Recreation and Park District. And so I have been in contact with them. They've let me know. It's called the Panhandle. Does everyone know about the Park District and the funny shape? It's funny shape with the pan and the handle. So basically what they want to do, there's this one little peninsula that's very strange the way they set up your district, that 42% of the revenues for your district come from the pan, and the handle connects the pan to the rest of the district. And so the Rio Linda, my understanding, correct me any of you folks, board members that are here, if I'm not saying it right, but my understanding is that the Rio Linda Recreation or Rio Linda Elverta Recreation and Park District would like to retain the services. They don't have such a big problem with the annexation, but they want to retain the services. And we'll be working through this issue. This is, I believe, coming to the board on the 11th, September 11th. And I can't really talk about how I'll vote, because then I'd have to recuse myself, and I don't want to do that. I want to be able to represent my people. So, but what I can say is that the potential, the tax agreement that has been conversation around the agreement with the Park and Rec District is to pay them basically what they're making on the handle right now, which is $2,500 a year. But the potential after that is built out and houses are in and they begin to have to build parks is like $60,000 a month or something like that. So there's a great potential for some future representation of the school, some new schools that will go in there, and the parks associated with that, and new parks associated with new development. And you know, in a small community like Rio Linda, Elverta, you know, the way I feel about you, and tell me if I'm wrong, I need to know if I'm wrong, those, the water board and the, you know, CPAC and the Recreation and Park District, that's your opportunity to have control over your destiny in your own community and make sure things are moving in a direction that reflects who you are as a people. Even if you're not an incorporated city, it's an important part of your world. And so I want to do my best to represent you, and if you have an opinion relating one way or the other in relation to this, if you have questions, call the Park District. If you have an opinion that you need me to know about, send me an email, because and send every one of the board members in that same email, because that way I can better represent you. I do have a couple words to say about roads. I guess there's the Rio Linda Bridge replacement is creating some challenges with the roads. I guess that was an understatement. So there is an East Levee Road that was closed, and everyone's been, a lot of people have been calling my office and saying, why don't you just open the East Levee Road? It would relieve a lot of the pressure. the problem, and I did meet with Angelique Ashby, who is a council member in Sacramento City. I guess that road is in Sac City. It's not in the unincorporated county. And she basically said, Sue, even if we wanted to, that road was closed by the neighborhood that's there, and they don't want that road open. They don't want access through their neighborhood. So it's the community there that's keeping that road from opening is the story I'm getting. I'm seeing all kinds of reaction to that. Yes?
East Levy Road runs from Elverta Boulevard to Main Avenue. Sorrento Road runs off of East Levy Road down Main Avenue also. You can reopen East Levy Road and leave Sorrento Road closed. That way that community is not affected. This is all the city of Sacramento refusing to open it on that side.
Does the county maintain that road?
My understanding is that road is maintained by Sacramento City. Vance? Where's Vance? Is it county maintained? It would be Sac City, right?
That's what I understand.
I thought it was Sacramento City Road.
Half the roads in the city, half the roads in the county. Sorrento Road is where it splits, where it enters the city.
Okay, so
You can reopen East Levy on the county side, but it would dead end at Sorrento Road. You need to go in. So if you want to get the city to reopen East Levy Road on their side, we can travel East Levy on Main Avenue without having to use Sorrento Road and bother that community at all.
So, 1 second. My understanding, Vance, correct me if I'm wrong, is that my staff is running into major brick walls from Sac City on this whole concept. We can go back and ask, can you open East Levy and not Sorrento? Right, Vance? Can we put that on our list?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Closing of the road. And at the time it was closed, we were also discussed about putting National Drive through from El Paso Road to Elkhorn Boulevard. I have three people right here that verify what I'm talking about is correct. That was also discussed by the previous supervisor.
I don't really, you're saying you were one of the ones that wanted it closed?
When East Levy Road was closed, there was a discussion about putting National Drive through El Paso Road to Elkhorn Boulevard. And that, there's no dispute about that. That's not.
Well, can we look into that? Okay, he's saying that at the same time they closed East Levy Road, there was a conversation about opening National Road, National Drive. Can we then open that conversation about where's National Drive? Okay, thank you. We'll look into that. John?
The issue with National Drive is that that would come up through the panhandle. If the city were to annex and develop the panhandle, National Drive would come up from El Paso Road up to Elkhorn Boulevard. The thing is, the people who have the ranch right there at the corner of East Levy Road and Elkhorn Boulevard don't intend to sell that property anytime soon. So even if they did build National Drive and develop that area, it would never go all the way to Elkhorn Boulevard.
Okay. It's not, I don't quite know how to say this, but I have a feeling I'm going to be out. It's going to be annexed because, I mean, I could be wrong, but there's a lot of people that want that panhandle annexed. Yes, sir.
I don't understand why the city's making a big deal out of this. We're only asking to open it for a temporary time period. Okay, we're not asking for being permanent. It's only another month and a half before the bridge is completed, the boulevard. So why can't it just open it temporarily? Looking at the bridge.
Well, first of all, everything everything in government is slow. And if we even tried to open it, it would probably take more than a month and a half to get it open. So, I mean, I don't know, that's just my first reaction to your very intelligent, astute observation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We're gonna have another conversation. We can have that conversation, but I don't think that's gonna be it'll be that easy to get it open in the first place, let alone closing it a month later. You're just gonna say no. Are you kidding? You know what I'm saying? I do want to let you know that there are some things that we are doing around that. We are our traffic engineer went out there this morning, and he spent some time studying the situation to evaluate the traffic and the situation, and there is some conversation around getting some safety officers out there to direct traffic, to make traffic flow better for a while. So we are sensitive and trying to respond in whatever way we can. Yes. You said that they were done. What is that? Why does City want that? Well, they want it because there's development going. It's like the city has come up to both sides of that panhandle, and there is some development that wants to go in, and they are a full-service city, and they perceive that, you know, if they annex the handle, they know they can't annex the pan because the pan doesn't want to be annexed. Those businesses don't want to be annexed. But they feel that, you know, there are some road connections that it would be so much easier, it would make it so much easier if it's all part of one city rather than just one little strip of it being the unincorporated county. And I can get their point on that. I totally get their point. The problem is that the one entity that doesn't want to give up the services is the Park District, and what they're saying is that they don't contract out services. They're a self-service city. Well, they do contract out some services, and so, but we're not, you know, they did it in a couple of other examples, Metro Fire and one of the other park districts in the county. So, Fulton El Camino Park District. So, I think at the end of the day, they want the services, and Rec and Park want the services, and it's going to be, the board will decide whether or not to let it go to LabCo, and then once it goes to LabCo will decide how that all plays out. And I also serve on LabCo, but I'm only one person. Any vacancies? Not that I know of. Oh, yes.
We are being bombarded with major traffic on our street. And we just got traffic bumps put in, 3 of them on our street. And they still speed by, whether there's kids there or not. And it's getting dangerous, and I say amen to more officers on traffic. And I want to put no parking signs on the road because they double park in the road, and on weekends and holidays it's really bad. And I think we do need the no parking signs because they challenge us in our own driveway. In road, I mean, there's multiple people in the box.
So, you know, do you have a smartphone? my phone is smarter than I am. And on that smartphone, there's a 311 app that you can download. And on the 311, when you have like potholes or speeding or, you know, concerns about people parking in front of your house, anything, you can take a picture, you can report it. If you don't want to go through all that and directly through that app, you can just call my office and my staff will follow up for you and they'll help out. So I would get Vance's business card before you leave. He's the one who likes to take all the problems. Well, you might be able to put your own. I don't know what the rules are. That's what Vance wants. Vance wants to give you his card right now. Vance? Barry, come up here. Yeah, so here's what I wanted to tell you. I have a feeling he's the head of code enforcement, so he's going to come up here and solve the problem for us.
So if you're having issues like that, it's transportation. So if you use 311, you start with saying it's a complaint for transportation. We can hear you. Sorry. So if you use 311 and you know it's something like this, a parking issue or something like that, lead off with transportation so they know where it's going to go, because sometimes we'll send it all over the place and it doesn't get where it needs to go.
Can she put a no parking sign in front of her house? On her property? Don't park on my property. I own this. Can she do that?
If it's on your property, yes, but you got to concern yourself. If you're between your property and the road, it's probably a county right of way. So if you're gonna put signs there, you need to get busing and transportation. And they more than likely they'll send somebody out to take a look and then they'll decide what they do.
Oh my God.
So I know for a fact that we've had some issues with that before. We worked with transportation, they went out and took a look, and then they put up signs. I don't want you to put signs up and then have somebody say, what are you doing? So I can get where you're at, and my boss used to be the head of transportation, so I'll talk to him and see if I can get somebody out to take a look and give you some ideas about what you can actually do.
She's talking about how wonderful the police have been. So, okay, so you're going to follow up. You're going to follow up. Lastly, I wanted to let you know that we have the next level of recycle coming. The Solid Waste Authority is now talking about moving to the next level of recycle, which is organic waste. And so we're going to be having to decide how we're going to do that. If it's going to be in a separate can, or if it's going to be you put your organic stuff in with your green waste, and then we have to pick it up more often because it'll rot and smell, and we'll have issues with that. But we are going to be moving to that next level because of state regulations. We have no choice. And we have to meet those goals by, I think, 2020 or 2021. Solid waste is garbage. Yeah. And so we have a separate, I serve on 26 or 7 boards, and that's one of the ones that I serve on. And so this year that's been the discussion. we will have to decide whether or not we are going to, how we're going to recycle it, if we're going to separate it out or put it with green waste. And then it will have to be shipped to either out of town to facilities that are already working with organic waste, or we will have to come up with the money to build our own facility in the valley. If we do that, that impacts air quality, and it creates all these other challenges that we have with meeting air quality goals, which are state regulations. So we're kind of weighing what can we do. And on the Solid Waste Authority, we put away some extra savings in case we do have to build our own facility. We'll have be able to draw on some bonds. We'll have the reserves that are required for that.
I just want to know what you mean by organic waste. Are you talking about
food waste?
So watermelon rinds, peaches, peach pits, eggshells.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, on all of it. Any food waste. Well, there are some in the 6-county region. I think there's one facility up by Yolo or something like that. But we do not have a food recycling in Sacramento as yet. And so it's going to be, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to dispose of it. And that's what we're working on right now.
So what's the point of having a garbage can?
I'm sure it will increase cost. Rates, I'm sorry to say, rates across the board have gone up, and that's one of the reasons why our seniors and people on low fixed income are really suffering, because water, sewer, electric, gas, food packaging is getting smaller while food cost is going up. Everything, taxes, and I can tell you, we did a survey. We've been doing surveys on some of the things that are going to be on the ballot. I'm sure in our next meeting I'll be talking a little bit about the results of some of those surveys. But in my district, the added taxes and the added burden of that has really impacted people. They are not happy about it. So.
That's why you see all this trash being dumped and fire being dumped.
Yeah, I don't know what causes a person to just dump mattresses on the side of the road.
Disrespect.
I don't get that at all. I just don't get it. But yeah. Did you have a question? So at this time, I want to take just a couple minutes to recognize excellence. You have a business in your community and who has won a very prestigious award. I would like to see if John Todd would approach the front of the room. John Todd with Rio Linda Online. So, John, this is my honor and privilege to present this award to you, a proclamation from the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, and I want to read it because his accomplishments are meaningful. Rio Linda Online, Sacramento County honors Rio Linda Online. Sacramento A-List Best of 2018 winner, Best Local News. Whereas businesses are the cornerstone of our free enterprise system, and since the birth of this country have represented opportunity, independence, and the fulfillment of dreams for generations of Americans. and business owners who work long hours juggling career responsibilities are integral to our country's prosperity and to the vibrancy of our community. Through the opportunities offered by the men and women who own and operate businesses, many of our citizens are able to pursue their dreams for a better life. And whereas to recognize Rio Linda Online this July 23rd, 2018, we celebrate and support new businesses that create jobs, boost the economy, and invigorate neighborhoods around the country, and to encourage everyone to shop local. And whereas Rio Linda Online, providing local news for Rio Linda, Elverta, Natomas, and the surrounding areas, and to recognize the great honor of winning the 2018 KCRA Sacramento A-List Award, an award voted on by over 40,000 locals. Whereas the members of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors wish to recognize all businesses for the key role they play in keeping our economy strong. And therefore, I, Sue Frost, am so proud and honored to represent the best of the best. Congratulations, John.
Thank you, Sue. I appreciate it. And thank all you guys for reading. This wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for everybody who came and read. It's 9 years ago I started this because we were being underserved by things like Sacramento Bee and Sacramento Union at that time. I've been here my entire life, and I couldn't be more proud. Thank you very much.
Going on in Rio Linda, I go to Rio Linda Online before I go to my staff, because I know it'll be quicker. Yes. So at this time, I wonder if anyone has any questions or comments or feedback. Okay, I'll start with you, and then you, and then you, and then we'll go to this side.
Last night at the sheriff's meeting, I asked one of the officers of the hot team. They had demographics on the homeless that they were interviewing in the investment in Sacramento County. But my concern is that we're going to get unintended consequences by developing a lot of homeless programs. Are we going to be a magnet for homeless in other nearby counties who can get a better deal in Sacramento than they can in their own? Is there any follow-up on that?
Well, what I can tell you about the county, I know there are a lot of homeless programs in Sacramento, like the food bank and the loaves and fishes and so forth in the city, and there's a higher concentration there. The homeless programs that we're working at the county they start with the sheriff hot team, who is creating trust relationships with people who have been out there for a while in an effort to try to find, coax them out of homelessness. And at the same time, to connect them to services that will save the taxpayers money. In other words, some of those homeless people call 911 to refill their prescription, or to get food, or to get out of the rain into an emergency room, which costs taxpayers a lot of money. So the homeless programs that we're working on at the county are very diversified in nature. Some of them are connecting veterans to their benefits. One homeless program that I lobbied for and got in this year's budget was a work training and placement pilot program for homeless. And this is for the homeless that are not seniors or do not have veteran status, who don't have disability. It's for those who don't have any skills and they don't know how to get a job. And it's hard to put them in affordable housing. They don't even have any kind of a job. So this work training and placement program, in partnership with Pride Industries, is going to give the oversight necessary and the support they need to give them work, and that enables us to connect them with the housing voucher opportunity. So we have a lot of mentally ill people on the streets, people who really need support, but there's no place for them to go. So we're working on connecting them to those services, and everything we're doing at the county is to wrap services around them and find a way to get them into a sustainable lifestyle and not on the streets. And so every homeless person costs the taxpayers approximately $49,000 a year. It costs us a lot less to subsidize their housing and help them with programs, believe it or not. So, but a lot of them don't want to come in. And, you know, there is that mantra that, you know, if we create all these programs, will they come? But, you know, like the food banks. The food banks are really not for the homeless. They're for the working poor who are on the edge of homeless. And people don't really realize that. There are some homeless people who take advantage of the food banks, but a big portion of the food banks is people who are not making it, and they are subsidizing their monthly outgo with that little extra help. And so, I anticipate that our homeless problem is going to get worse, and the reason is because we have all the boomers who are aging out, and they are no longer in the working they're no longer working, they're retired, but a lot of them, their spouse may have died, they lost half of their income, and they don't know how they're going to make it. So those kinds of programs are really not only helping them get by, but some of them are actually serving other needs, like socialization. Some of these people are isolated, they can't drive. They get to see that friendly face, bring food once a day, you know, that kind of thing. So I think what I'm trying to tell you, yes, in the case of Placer County where they did the tent city, all the homeless people were all their friends in LA saying, you've got to get up here, this is great. And they were moving from LA up to Placer, and they had such a problem up there, they ended up having to close it because those people did not want to transition out of the tent city. It was too good. The city was picking up their garbage and their needles and bringing them food, and it got so expensive, the city was breaking under it, and they had to close it. So in some cases, I think there are some scenarios that do not work, that do attract more homeless. And so, but in the unincorporated county, there's a lot of distance between all of us. We're not all down in the downtown. You hear what I'm saying? It's a little different. And by the way, if you see homeless people on the Parkway, call us. We'll call the Sheriff Hot team is very responsive. If you get caught up on a phone and you can't figure it out and you're frustrated, call my office, because where's Vance? That's what Vance does. Okay, and he's really good at it.
In his car.
He's really good at it.
I just want to say, I know we have a lot of homeless. It's going to get worse, I believe that. But when you say that there's programs, they need a purpose. They need something, and to receive what we are giving and what we continue to give them, I need to know what those programs are. Instead of just coming up with stuff and moving these homeless people to the next street, or, I mean, there needs to be some kind of consequences for these people to have a life. And I'd rather have my tax dollars help them become someone than to just collect their food every month.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. The only thing that we could do, we could arrest them, but then the taxpayers have to pay $175 to $200 a night, and you can't just arrest someone for being on public property. They have to violate some law by being there too long or whatever, you know, drunk in public, or they have to have committed a crime that you can actually arrest for. So it's not against the law. The first problem we have is it's not against the law to be homeless.
That's right. We need to have responsibility for them to collect funds. If they get food stamps, excuse me, how correct, they get housing subsidized. All those things they collect are really easy to collect. I mean, sleep in all day or do whatever. There needs to be some consequences for everything that they receive.
This
programs that they receive.
Yeah, she's saying there should be some consequence. What I want to share with you is that this dilemma is much more complicated than one might think. We have an opioid crisis that, you know, they say, you know, in big part started because people were prescribed, you know, a bottle of medications that got, and their child got into it or whatever. We have people who are addicted to drugs out there who do not want to come in. People that are schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic, don't want to take drugs that will help them. Or there's those who have been out there for so long, they're comfortable and they're happy. And that's who they are. I can say, I am going to let you guys talk. I'm not forgetting your first and your second. But there are, what our police and what our experts tell us is it's better not to give food, but to give to an organization that helps them. So if you drive up to someone who's panhandling, try not to feel guilty. And if you want to do something to help, give to the local food bank or give to your church or one of those organizations that are actually helping also with this problem, because government can't do it all. Taxpayers can't do it all. Government is taxpayer money. So, you know, but we have to deal with the problem because businesses suffer and people in their homes suffer if we don't. And 30% of them are criminals. And we do know that, you know, the prison population has been released into the community, and that's not going to get better. The cost of our jails and all that is astronomical. We're trying to figure out how we're going to pay for it at this time.
I just have a question. I live on 7th Street, Q, and I need a ski boat. They run up down my street and take my animals. So I've done put a sign up on the post. So I don't know if I can do that, tell them to slow down. So I was wondering where I can get a ski boat.
I'm sure there is. Vance is going to bring you his card. And you're going to have that conversation with Vance. There's a process. You have to, you know, we have to call the Department of Transportation. They'll come out and do a study and see, and sometimes it takes time and you have to do the squeaky wheel, but, you know, we'll advocate for you and try and help you in any way we can. Yeah.
Vance.
Just start with. I think he's talking to you.
Oh yeah, I'm talking to you. Hi Vance. I'm Michael Augustus and I live in Elverta. And I've been there 38 years. And from Elverta Road to Dutch Haven, there is no stop signs. There is no speed bumps. I have got the petition. They sent me a petition, said I needed 25 people. I got 45 people. I sent it back in, nothing's being done.
How long ago?
This has been about a year ago. They had to take the school bus stop, transfer it away from Elverta Road to Dutch Haven.
Okay.
Because if you just ride through there, it's like a racetrack. The lady over there, she lives on that street. The cars have been through her next door neighbor's yard.
You're killing 3 birds with 1 stone.
3 times. And it's a brick fence. They went through it. Every day, half the night, we are having donuts. All the way, and there's 2 or 3 cars.
I think we've heard about this street.
Over and over and over again.
When they get done, they come on and visit me.
And we didn't have it.
Yeah.
We are taxpayers. We feel like Elverta has been neglected in that particular area. It is not right. We don't have no street lights out there. The homeless are sleeping there in cars and behind bushes on Dutch Haven, where our children now. You cannot go there and find one kid walking on Dutch Haven anymore.
Okay, so.
Because of the people doing the donuts around and around and around. Then they take off. There is nothing there. No speed bump, no crosswalk, no stop sign.
Okay.
For a mile and mile. This is just not right.
Okay. Are you done?
No, but I will be.
What I want to say about that, I think Ben, he's a little bit old, and so he has to sit down if he can't stand too long. But what I do want to say about that is also on the homeless. You can call us and call my office and just tell us where they are, and we will at least have our hot team try to go out there, because they are connecting. They do have a phone app. They have a phone app. They won an award, a global award for this. Only 50 companies in the world got one, and our sheriff got one of them. And what that phone app is they can take their picture, they ask them a 15-point question, and each time they touch them, they put it in the location, the GPS location, so they know where they are, where they're moving, where the hot spots are, and they can bring more. When they are all gathering in one place, a whole bunch of them, they can bring more sheriff and services to that location, and they are actually having some positive impact. So, but your reporting it will help us know that they're there.
I know you're going to think I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy.
I will deal with the homeless people before I watch a kid get killed on Dutch Haven. It's coming.
Okay, so the road is clearly.
Homeless people, we'll deal with that. We're talking about the safety of our children. They cannot go to the bus stop. They cannot walk to the corner store. We can't allow them to go in the street over there. They can't cross the street. It has been that way since I've been there. And I've been there, I was the first owner, and I'm still a taxpayer. And we have been neglected out there. It's like we're throwaway. And we're sick and tired of it.
Okay, I'm hearing you loud and clear, and you are not throwaway. We will do everything we can to help support this. So we'll get to work on this. I promise.
What's his name?
Yeah. What's your name?
Oh, me? I'm Michael Augustus.
So when those houses were first built,
yes, ma'am.
Dutch Haven had, is what I heard, had the option of putting street lamps up all down Dutch Haven. But some people didn't want it because it was going to make too much light.
That was the people houses that was built in 1970. My house was built in 1980. In my deed, it said I'm supposed to have street lights. Right. I don't have them because of my neighbors across the street won't pay their taxes.
Never put in.
So
that's too bad.
The street, we still have the safety of the children.
Yeah, but thank you for the history, because it's good to know those things. I promised him first, then you, and someone over here, and then you.
I'm at the right creek. We have speed bumps.
Put it close to your.
We have speed bumps that drive Creek and East Creek. Now people are flying over them. It is backed up. It took 10 minutes from there to get here because of the traffic.
Okay.
We have people doing donuts every month right there on the corner and taking out the stop sign. The first day of school, they took out the stop sign. They're going down the bike lane with motorcycles because they don't want to wait for traffic.
That is how bad it is. It's backed all the way from the Claire, all the way to East Street.
Okay, so are you asking for help? More help? Okay.
We need help. We need their somebody.
Okay. Okay, Vance, we have one more street here. And what I want to tell all of you, everyone's getting restless. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I think, how do you guys feel? Do you want me to end the meeting and those who want to leave can leave and those who want to continue talking stay, or do you want to keep going? Okay, I'm only going to take these last questions that I had selected, which is these two ladies and this fine gentleman, and yes, and so that's it. And then after that, we're going to have to stop. I'm sorry. We have to stop. Everyone try and be concise. If we can be concise, we'll have time for that one last one. I'm a pushover. Try to be really quick with your comment or your question.
So we've talked about the homeless issue. My question is what is the county doing to help prevent the homeless issue from ever happening? What are we doing to help people that are on the edge of that homelessness?
The county has allocated extra funding for adult protective services and child protective services, and we're working hard on our foster care continuum. Okay, everyone, we're going to end this real soon. We are putting together there are a lot of programs for seniors on low income, fixed income. There's a lot of programs at the county that people don't know about that will help them if they're struggling. And that's part of what I'm working on in the senior thing, to try to make sure people understand that all these money-saving programs are available. So there is things going on at the county to help people who are living on the edge. And our attention is on it now. We're beginning to pay more attention to this because it's a real problem that's developing.
And I know you've been big growing gaps to that groups of that homelessness too.
Yeah. Okay.
Good evening. I know this traffic situation is horrible, not just within our local streets due to this road closure, but we really do have to focus on a permanent solution. I travel at 6:30 in the morning down to Elkhorn. I used to be able to go Levy Road before that all got closed off. And now with the addition of Amazon out here in the north area, this freeway is now, people getting off at Elkhorn to go to Amazon is backing up all westbound traffic trying to get on the freeway well east of East Commerce. That is now starting to be a major problem. What that does, it results in people going down Elkhorn switching off to Truxell. So it would behoove the people of Natomas to want to put a street through from Elkhorn to Del Paso to get these people, which is a freeway at 6:30 in the morning on Truxell, to get these people out of their neighborhood. We need to have some kind of a permanent solution, a road that's going to go cut that off from Elkhorn clear over to Del Paso again to relieve all of this congestion in the long run.
Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to our Department of Transportation to see what we can do to take a closer look at the Rio Linda, Elverta area. I know we are aware that there are some problems and they can't be fixed until some of that development comes in because the county doesn't have the money and it's the developers that actually bring the rest of it and make it happen. And developers can't seem to get off the ground because they're struggling to get their permits and, you know, pencil their projects out because we're asking them to do more because we don't have the money. So, okay.
I'll email you with the rest.
I want to let everyone know we have refreshments in the back. So on your way out or anytime, please take advantage. We're only going to have time for a couple more because everyone's restless and I want to let everyone go.
Yes, some time ago I saw a card, a business type card, that you could,
if you come up against a panhandler or a homeless, it had all of the address or phone numbers of people who could help.
Let's work on that. I'll work on that.
Well, I haven't seen one of those cards in a long time, and I think they should be made available to people that can use them. And instead of giving a homeless person $1 so that he can go buy some pot, give them the means to help themselves.
Connect them to the resources. And also I want to let you know, some of those people that are out there panhandling are making a ton of money doing that.
Yes,
They're not homeless at all. They go home to their air-conditioned home after we gave them our hard-earned dollars. And that's why I'm saying, don't feel guilty. You know, give to the people that help the homeless.
There was a young lady that stood out in front of the party and pulled in over $400 in 2 hours.
Right. Okay.
I don't need to ask you to touch the subject. Homeless will have relatives. Homeless will have relatives, and at least half of them will have relatives. Can the relatives get a little bit of them? Another subject. It's a lot of noise from the cars in the street. The loudspeakers, they are bothering you 11:30 in the night. Another thing is, I see suggestion is educate already. The meetings will have
Noise from, a roster? Did you? Okay, yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure that was Vance's fault, but I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding, it was my fault. All right, this is the last person. He's going to be very short and concise, and then we're going to close the meeting. And I can stay as long as you guys want me to.
I'm very hurt and afraid because I have a cause that is very important to me, and I don't hear a lot of other people talking about it. Psychological weapons are electronic devices that use microwave radiation from satellites that aim at people and can affect behavior and emotions and thoughts because they can affect brain waves. I want to support every child and every man and every woman who's been a victim of these psychological weapons, and I know there must be others besides me, because Penn's Kucinich passed Congress Bill HR 2977 to ban space-based weapons. Berkeley passed Resolution 5115 to ban space-based weapons, and Richmond also passed a resolution. Michigan passed a state law. So I want to support those things. What information would you need to support that cause?
I know you were at the Board of Supervisors this week, and we connected you with our department head who was going to try to follow up with you and connect you to resources. So we will offline, we'll take that and we'll work as best we can to connect you with the right people that can help. I don't have answers about a resolution. I don't know enough about the subject to even speak to that tonight, but we'll take that and we'll work with you moving forward. Vance, he needs your card. Okay. Okay. No, I was going to end it with him. Can you tell me afterwards. We're losing the crowd. I can't believe it. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. Thank you so much. I'll be here as long as you need me. And please come in 2 months, we'll be back. Hope you'll come again.